All right, y'all. So we are back in the building and we're following up on this Melody and Martell situation. Now, for those of you guys who follow Mel on her Patreon, you might know a little bit more about what's actually going on with her end of this. But Martell has spoken out and someone tagged me in this. So shout out to Queen Silver Spring, who tagged me on the Reality Entertainment TV page. So we're going to be reading from that to give you a breakdown on what's happening. Also, be sure to catch the latest episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville that it is going to be airing tonight on OWN. Let's get into it. Okay, so Martell says, Melody Rogers falsely accused me of abuse for the fourth or fifth time. For the record, the second time, she sought a protection order against me involving both her and our children based on lies. Sadly, Melody had our two oldest children testify against me. What hurt my heart the most was hearing things that simply were not true. Melody went all in on this one without thinking about how our children would feel when they had come back to their father afterwards. The judge heard all the testimony and reviewed the evidence. Dismissed. Just like the other false accusations. Stop believing every narrative. Some people are more interested in money, attention, and Patreon content than the truth. My focus remains on loving and supporting my children. So then he posts what appears to be a amended final order in which he is the defendant. Apparently, it says here the cause came before the court on the 12th day of June, 2026, for a final hearing on the petition for protection filed by the plaintiff, Melody Holt. I wonder why it still has her. Well, maybe she hadn't legally changed the last. I'm not sure. I don't know. Anyway, I know that the last we'll refer to her as Melody Rogers because that's what she would prefer to be known by, or Melody Shari. So we'll just go with that from this point. Melody was represented by her attorney. Martell was represented by his attorney. Having considered the testimony and evidence presented, and upon review of the submitted exhibit and applicable law, it is ordered, adjudged, and decreed by the court that the ex parte protection order entered in this case on May 22nd of 2026 is hereby dismissed. During trial in this matter, the plaintiff admitted an exhibit which was a court order, and the court has no jurisdiction over that case. And what you see here is done this 12th day of June of 2026. So that was yesterday. Okay. And so it appears as though what Martell has written here is, just so y'all know, Melody Rogers been lying. BHH exclamation point. Does anybody know what the BHH stands for? I don't know what that stands for. So whatever has happened, this final amended order was just put out, or at least done, as of yesterday. So what I noticed is someone in the comments here says it was dismissed because the judge said it was out of her district, so Mel will have to file again, but that doesn't mean it didn't happen. Someone else asked, why are those legal papers referring to Melody Rogers as Melody Holt in 2026 when she changed her name years ago? Must be old documents. So I'm just going through the comments here. Okay. Now, there is another document here that was dated on March 20, on March 7th of 2022. That is again a petition for protection. And what you see here is it is ordered, adjudged, and decreed that this cause shall be dismissed without prejudice. And the ex parte ordered on the 12th of January of 2022 is dissolved. That was done on the 7th day of March. So then Martell apparently writes Melody Rogers Binline. Then he says Melody Rogers lied to the courts, stating he slammed out. Melody asked the judge to keep my children away. The judge saw right through the lies. He dismissed it. For years, there have been repeated attempts to assassinate my character in the courts and in the public eye. The facts presented, the testimony was heard, and the case was dismissed. All right, so there you have the update from what Martell has said and stated in his post. And this was again posted to Reality Entertainment TV. I don't really know where the two of them go from here because the situation has escalated so much that I wouldn't even know, as someone who doesn't have kids, where one would go after all of this. Where do you go? Like, someone in the chat, please comment. Someone who has been in this situation before, please comment. Where do the parents go outside of, because regardless, they're still gonna be in each other's lives and they're still gonna have to co-parent until the kids are old enough to, I guess, make their own decisions in terms of being adults. Do the parents then go to therapy? Do they do family therapy at this point? Is there space for that? Is there opportunity for that in this instance? I don't know what one does at this point because, when we see like the Kim and Croy of it all, I think about the fact that they're not even divorced yet. And I think about all that we've seen and heard with them and their finances and how all of that has come to light. At what point do the parents just do they find a way? Is that possible in this instance based on the allegations here? Is it possible? Will it ever be possible? I don't know. Those are the things that I would have to wonder. I guess the only thing that we can do is pray as viewers, pray for the family, and pray that there is some level of peace and resolve. And I don't really know beyond that. I think that this is one of those instances that goes far beyond the scope of just reality TV, right? Which is typically what we focus on. And it really dives into more deep rooted issues, way more than I am qualified to speak on at this point. But I think it also serves as a reminder that at the core of all of this is a family that has, for all intents and purposes, this is what has happened as a result of a family being pretty much destroyed because of everything that has occurred. And it's unfortunate, it's unfortunate. And I don't wish this on anyone. Okay. I really don't. I don't know. If you guys have comments about what you think should happen next, y'all let us know in the comment section down below. Otherwise, that's all that we can do at this point now. All right. With that being said, I will catch you guys in the next video.